It's been a minute, but I'm back in the grind in the Go Battle League. I haven't been playing too much this season because I've been extremely busy, but I did do some sets here in the Great League Remix, and I think I found a really unique team that's only gotten me positive sets so far. All right, let's just jump into this. So this very first set, I actually was doing in my layover in Las Vegas. Don't mind the little corner there. I was like listening to some video by Moist Critical, I guess. There was like this Twitch stream where this moderator came on and was kind of getting like made fun of, I suppose. It was a very interesting scenario, but I guess he was cool with it. Anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna throw Shadow Ball here into the Poliwrath. We had the Skeledirge lead. They end up switching out on Runerigus, which is fine. Poliwrath can be a little difficult for this team depending, since they do run counter, but also they seem to be running Scald and Icy Wind, which honestly isn't that bad for Vigoroth and Dewgong. I mean, the counter damage is not going to be nice, but if we can get an Icy Wind off on Poliwrath, sometimes it can help negate the counter damage. But in comes the Skeledirge again, and we do have shield advantage, so I think I decided to bring in, I feel like I might bring Vigoroth in here, because the Skeledirge also seem to be running Disarming Voice plus Shadow Ball. And Shadow Ball is not really going to do much. They actually do throw Shadow Ball here, which I thought was crazy, considering Disarming Voice is going to do more damage and less energy. But now I switch in, I can farm down energy on Runerigus, and then in comes Credilli. Pretty much should be a pretty solid scenario. I'm going to go for Sand Tomb just to lower the defense a bit. And I think what I end up doing is going, yeah, I just go for the Shadow Ball. They were trying to build up 2 moves, it feels like. So yeah, pretty solid first start. I'll just let Runerigus go here. And yeah, that should be game 1. So yeah, I'm on my layover here. Just it's been a minute since I've been able to actually really sit down and play. I mean, some of the formats I really haven't been too interested in playing either. Like, I'll play a little bit and then I'll just kind of get bored with it. But yeah, Remix Cup, I wanted to try something very unique this time around, and I decided to run this team with Runerigus, Dewgong, and Vigoroth. And definitely Runerigus is a very interesting Pokemon because there's certain Pokemon in this format that it completely walls, vice versa. There's some Pokemon that also do a really good job at walling it. But I do have some examples of both of these in this video. So this is pretty much the set that I'm using from 19 to 20, which is guaranteed to rank up. But I played a set before this. I got 5-0 with this team, and I was like, oh, maybe I should start recording. Because I was just messing around in the airport, just trying to pass time. So yeah, I end up having a lot of fun running this team. And so in this scenario, it's actually not too bad. I mean, we have the Skarmy, and we're just going to Icy Wind. Pretty much Icy Wind is so good in this format, in my opinion. Like, any way to reduce attack really can flip a lot of these matches. So at this point, I'm going to try to preserve Dewgong a bit, and I'm going to bring in Runerigus and just go straight Shadow Ball. They don't shield, which I'm totally cool with. Runerigus is going to go down, but that's fine. We're totally fine with that. And then I think I bring in Vigoroth for the farm down, or maybe I bring in Dewgong to try to get energy. Yeah, I bring in Dewgong. So at this point, it doesn't really matter because Frostlass has 1 HP. We just have to bring in Vigoroth and counter down. So GG. And in this next battle, we get a Galarian Slowbro lead, which is pretty good, but wasn't really sure how I wanted to play this matchup. I guess I could have gone for the bait move. I mean, it's kind of hard to know because a lot of people, it feels like they assume I'm gonna try to bait, so they don't shield, especially like Jellicent, for example. Like, I'd say 90% of the Jellicents I've faced, I build up to the Shadow Ball and try to bait, and they don't shield. And then the one time, like the 1 or 2 times I actually do their Shadow Ball, they shield. It's, I don't know, it's just how the game is, right? But yeah, we end up switching the Dewgong, and I guess this is still pretty good because now they have no shields, and they end up having Clefable here in the back. So I'm going to throw the Shadow Ball, and I feel like I switch into Vigoroth to get the Body Slam off, so I can kind of preserve Runerigus if I really need it. But I decided to kind of build a little bit of energy, and I guess I decided to just counter down and just keep all the energy. I thought maybe I could like punish the backline if I just build up a lot of energy. Like, I guess I didn't really mind taking all that damage from Charm, is what I'm trying to get at. And Yeah, they end up having Welrun in the back, and I think they may have just quit at this point. Yeah. This is something I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but I've always assumed that when the game plays out like this, where the game's like lagging, like right here, that they just like force quit the game. Like this guy just like, he didn't even try to top left, he just straight up closed the app. So yeah, this game, I get a lot of those type of matches with this team. Like, oh yeah, don't mind me, I just kind of woke up too. My eyes, oh my gosh. I mean, I always look like that, but like, whoa, I just woke up. I've just been kind of busy since I got back from my trip, and I wanted to try to catch up and try to be posting. Also, if you don't know, I have a second channel called Daily Sassifrass where I do cover a lot of the main series games, a lot of shiny hunting. I've been live streaming there a lot, and I also do post a lot of short form content, which is like I post about my community days and stuff over there. So if you're interested, definitely consider checking it out. There should be some link in the description or somewhere. If you just go to my main page here, there'll be recommended channels. Just go check it out if you're interested, of course, if you want more of me in your life. But yeah, I'm trying to be better at keeping up with this channel. I'll admit, being more casual in Pokemon Go has been probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. I mean, I've been playing this game since it's come out like 7 years ago, 8 years maybe at this point. Dang, time is flying. That's crazy to think, isn't it? But yeah, I'm not really sure what this Politoed was doing. Maybe it had an ice move as its second move, but they just keep spamming Weather Ball, which I'm totally cool with. I mean, it could have had Earthquake, but it doesn't seem that is the case. So I'm just gonna throw the Drill Run, and they're just gonna bring in their Electrode, which is really fun because I actually can throw a Drill Run. This is awesome, by the way. I love that Dewgong got access to Drill Run. Really helps out on making it a better Pokemon overall. But I think in this format, it actually shines as a pick. Again, definitely a team that there's a battle. I've had some battles where they're running Double Fighter in the back, and that's probably the worst nightmare for this type of team, is getting the Double Fighters in the back, because both of my back lines weak to fighters. That's kind of the idea of it. It's like ABB line against some sort of like, you know, the idea is my backline's weak, but good against the things Runerigus is weak to, vice versa, right? Like that's typically how you want to structure a team. But yeah, these Poliwraths are everywhere, and honestly, I was a little more nervous about them than I actually realized I needed to be. Like, because they're running Icy Wind and Scald, again, like I said, there's a lot of scenarios where even Dewgong can kind of just come in and like nerf its attack and then kind of just throw Drill Runs. Not that it will be able to flip the match, but it can do. We really just need to be chipping damage on Poliwraths. So they end up throwing the Icy Wind here, and as you can see, just the way the nature of this match played out, this is just way better for me. I mean, I don't really need to shield at all on the Poliwrath, and they end up having a Vigoroth in the back, and this is what I'm trying to say. This matchup against Runerigus and Vigoroth, it may seem even because they're both in a scenario where they're both resisting each other's attacks, but because of the Sand Tomb, over time, especially in a lead if it's Vigoroth versus Runerigus, Runerigus just ends up taking the cake. I mean, between lowering its defense and just keep throwing the spam move, it overcomes the battle. So yeah, at this point, I was like, I could probably just shield. I mean, there's really no reason to, you know, let Dewgong come in here and finish it, and they end up just top lefting. So yeah, that's a 5-0. I just wanted to show this because it was like the first set I actually recorded with the team, and I finally hit rank 20 with this. I don't really need to show it. I didn't get a shiny or anything cool here, so I'll just jump into the next set. Yeah, so I'm showing just some random sets, but pretty much a majority of my sets, I don't think I went any negative sets at all. 3 2s, 4 1s, 5 0s, a lot of 5 0s. And you'll kind of see my elo, again, I just did this like within the last 2 days, and I haven't done my full sets. I hit 20, I think I was at like 21 something elo, and throughout this video you'll see that I gained probably like 200 plus elo, working my way to veteran here. But yeah, the Jellicent can be a little annoying, as you can see. But they have Charger Bug here in the back, which is fine. I mean, they're typically running X-Scissor and Discharge in this format. There was the occasional Crunch. This might even be a Crunch variant, I don't recall. Yeah, this one's Crunch. But it's pretty rare to see the Crunch in this format. I mean, I usually risk it and don't shield. But yeah, it's really hard to kind of know until they reveal it. If they throw X-Scissor, more than likely they're not running Crunch. But yeah, there's a lot of Charger Bug leads in this format, a lot of Galvantula leads, just a lot of things in general that Runerigus can deal with. And I also have examples of just really bad leads. I think my last set showcases tough leads the best. But yeah, we got the Guzzlord here, and honestly, this gets really close to the wire because Runerigus doesn't seem like the best pick here. I mean, I guess it could have been trying to throw something like Shadow Ball, because even though it resists it, it still will do a tad more damage than the Sand Teams. But yeah, this was kind of insane. I think only because I was able to get those Icy Winds off, I'm able to tank that move. And yeah, we just barely pulled that one off, so GG's. We got Skarmory lead here, which isn't too bad for Runerigus. I mean, we gotta just throw Shadow Balls. There's really no point in trying to bait. I mean, if they don't shield, that's kind of bad for us. And a lot of times, they probably won't shield because they can tank at least one move. So I end up switching in Dewgong here, going for the Sky Attack. And that's fine, we can take that. So Wishcash comes in. I decided to shield the first Mud Bomb because I was able to get an Icy Wind off directly. And this way I can reduce all the damage from incoming future Mud Bombs. And yeah, pretty much if I can get the Icy Wind off, then this is a pretty solid matchup. There's a lot of times where I'm getting a Wishcash lead or a scenario where like I try to get the Sand Tomb off. Like say they safe swap the Wishcash into my Runerigus, I typically try to use Sand Tomb and then switch to Dewgong. That way I can rack up damage faster with my Ice Shards, and yeah, by then it's looking really good. They have Lickitung in the back, which Vigoroth is going to love to deal with, and they just end up top lefting. So yeah, they bring in the Quag here. Kind of same idea, I suppose. I go for the Sand Tomb, and I'm going to switch in. Oh, actually, I decided to bring in Vigoroth on this matchup. I guess this is when I was still trying to figure out, like, what should I do. I think also, I wasn't too sure if they had Stone Edge on the Quag, and they do end up having Stone Edge here. So I guess this ended up actually being the better switch in to a degree, just primarily for that reason. I build up 2 Body Slams, I'm going to launch them. And yeah, we win switch. In comes the Typhlosion. We can go for the Rock Slide. Also, Rock Slide's been kind of cool on Vigoroth. This is the first time I've tried out Rock Slide Vigoroth, and yeah, I think it's very interesting. It does help out a bit with some of these flyers and such. But also just like being able to have that like super effective damage on these like fire types. But I mean, I guess like Bulldoze technically already had that coverage, but yeah. Yeah, I guess they have the Superior here, and the only reason why I'm going to be able to... So they do a great job of baiting me. I fall for the bait completely. And I'm a little nervous here, but because I got that Icy Wind off, I'm able to survive, and thankfully so. I mean, I'm just going to throw the Icy Wind knowing that they're more than likely going to shield because they have to. And from there, I can just kind of Shadow Claw down with Runerigus. GG. Alright, so we get a Dragonair lead. Definitely not a good situation, but I decide I'm gonna just stay in and go straight Shadow Ball. There is a chance they might think I'm gonna bait. Maybe they'll just let this go through. That's the case, thankfully. I can just farm it down, and in comes Jellicent. So because I already have Energy lead, I decide, well, there's probably no reason to bait. And I mean, to be fair, probably could have gotten away with that bait, and that would have been really nice. But switching Vigoroth is a safe swap here, and now I'm going to throw a Rock Slide to try to get some chip damage. They're more than likely not going to shield, and that's fine. I just want to try to rack up some chip damage, and thankfully I get to the Rock Slide. I think they were trying to build up 2 Surfs, and they do shield that time. So I think what I end up doing is I just decide, you know what, we're just gonna let Vigoroth go. They do, I feel like that was an undertap to try to build up a little bit of energy. But I'm gonna bring in Dewgong, I'm okay with it. Oh wait, no, I think I bring in Runerigus just to waste energy, because I was like, this Jellicent has too much energy currently. So I'm gonna bring in Dewgong, and I decide I'm just gonna let the Shadow Ball go through. I don't know what they have in the back, but I should be able to deal with this a little bit. They end up having a Shadow Drapion. Holy smokes. If I didn't save this energy, this would have become kind of a nightmare, how spammy Drapion is. But I was able to outpace the Drapion entirely there, and that's pretty much just going to be GG. At this point, I can just farm down with an Ice Shard. And yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? GG's. Alright, let's see what we get. I think this might be... Oh my gosh. Worst case scenario, Mandibuzz lead. Oh my gosh, it completely walls Runerigus in this format. You'd be surprised though, after like a Sand Tomb, like it takes like 3 Shadow Balls to take it down, I think. So not like the worst, but like more than likely you're not gonna be able to do that. So I safe swap into my Vigoroth. They end up bringing in their own Vigoroth, but I'm ahead energy, so I can actually throw 2 Body Slams right out the gate, which is pretty good because we end up getting a shield. And we're going to have to bring in Runerigus here. Even though we don't have alignment, still, this is really all we can hope for, is that maybe their backline is weak to Dewgong as well. That's really all we can do, is pray. So I'm just going to have to stay in. Like, obviously I'm not going to bring Dewgong here, because we need Dewgong at good health to deal with Mandibuzz. So I'm just going to farm down, preserve all the energy, and I safe swap right away. And they end up having Skarmory in the back, which is definitely really good for us. Especially knowing that we can actually start tanking moves once we reduce the attack here. So I think I decided just to take the first move. I was like, there's no way they're going to throw Brave Bird right now, because otherwise I could just like farm it. And yeah, good call on my end to take that first Sky attack. And from here, I'm going to commit, I think I commit the shield. Yeah, it makes sense, I would. And I can just farm down. And the idea is I just want to get off this Icy Wind immediately on Mandibuzz. And that's great for us because now we're in a scenario where we can bring in Runerigus. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to lower its defenses so the Ice Shards do a bit more damage. And now I'm just going to start throwing Shadow Balls. This may seem kind of bad because we are also letting it generate a little bit of energy. But the irony is they can't farm me down with Snarl because of the attack drop. And Shadow Ball is actually going to hurt a lot. And that's why I decided to shield there. Because I knew that the Shadow Ball damage would have brought it down low enough. And it also forces them to expend their energy. So yeah, GG's there. And I think that's another 5-0 set. Let's jump into the next one. Alright, so this is my final set of the video. Definitely a very unique team, I would say. Yeah, so to be honest, I wasn't really sure why they switched out with Poliwrath. I'm assuming that I honestly don't know. I feel like Poliwrath can do a pretty good job against Runerigus, but maybe I'm not as familiar with the matchup or not. I mean, counter I feel like does slow it down. I mean, doesn't it generate slower than Mud Slap or Mud Shot? Excuse me. I don't even know. It feels like it does at least, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's the move choice that it runs nowadays. But yeah, at that point, I feel like it's pretty good. I wanted to make sure I didn't get hit. I guess I was trying to preserve my shields. So I brought in Vigoroth and I just kind of took a skull to the face. Good call to go for the Icy Wind here for sure. Definitely caught me off guard, but probably also good to preserve my health. Ended up having Charge a Bug, and I'm just gonna throw the Sand Tombs just to lower its defense, build up some energy. Probably should have just went for Shadow Ball, honestly, on that second one. I mean, I do have an attack drop here, keep in mind. I do shield, being a little afraid, but they reveal their X Scissor, so I mean, that one person was running X Scissor Crunch. I guess that could be possible that people are running that, but yeah, at this point, I decided to switch in Vigoroth and try to get a Body Slam off. That way, I don't have to keep taking chip damage. This isn't looking kind of spicy so far. I'm not entirely sure what to expect. But yeah, we are able to barely live that X Scissor, and GG's. I mean, Runerigus would have been able to handle that in the end, but Galvantula lead. Interesting enough, it seems that they just kind of stay in and go for lunge, and doesn't. I mean, I guess I don't really know the thought process necessarily, but that just gives me such a good lead. And they bring Wishcash, and I end up just saving my energy. I want to like maximize the damage output from my Runerigus there instead of throwing a Shadow Ball or Sand Tomb switching out, because they can just switch out and remove their defense drop. I decided I'm just going to save the energy. And Vigoroth is not the worst matchup here against Skarmory. Like I said, this is probably one of the matchups where Rock Slide does make a huge difference opposed to having Bulldoze. And yeah, getting off some of that damage is actually very valuable here. So they're trying to generate and save their energy. So that's totally fine. They can't really take advantage of it, fortunately, because they are going to die to the Shadow Claw damage. And from here, I decided to just go for Shadow Ball because I was assuming they wouldn't shield. And that's exactly what ends up happening. They don't shield, and pretty much it's going to be game at this point, because as you can see, regular Mud Bomb, even without the attack drop, isn't really going to do much to me. And from there, I just Icy Wind. I think they just top left. Or, oh no, you know what? Oh, this is so funny, because I thought, I thought this guy was like trying to tell me something. I thought we were trying to like have some truce, work it out. But yeah, I guess he actually force quit the game. I really thought, I'm like, wait, is this guy trying to tell me something? Like, he just stopped attacking. But yeah. That's why I like the Dewgong GO Battle League, honestly. If someone stops attacking, I like to stop too and just stare down. Anyways, Vigoroth lead, very good lead for us. This is actually what I was talking about a little bit earlier in the video, how it looks like it's a little even, because the Rock Slide damage, even though it's resisted, it still does a decent chunk here. A little bit more than the Sand Tombs are, but as time progresses and the defense keeps dropping, my Shadow Claw damage is getting a little bit better, and the Sand Tombs are going to be doing a little bit more damage. So I decided to commit one shield here just to kind of create an even more gap between our HP pools here. And from here, they end up doing a similar thing. I don't really need to commit another shield. I don't even know if I really even needed. Wait, yeah, I need to at least commit one shield there. But yeah, at this point, I think they just double shield, and I decide, you know, I can safe swap in Vigoroth and completely farm them down before they can react fast enough. I mean, I'm sure they could have reacted, but it's just so fast and their defense is so low. It's just like, it's even worth preserving it. Probably not, right? But yeah, so from here, we just like throw the body slam, and yeah, this is looking pretty good. I think I bring in Dewgong knowing that they... Oh no, I just bring in Runerigus because I was okay with them just kind of removing Runerigus. I was going to just save my shield for Dewgong in the back line. They do end up having Charger Bug. So in this matchup, it's very important that I go for the Icy Wind first, because a Drill Run won't remove Charger Bug, but the Icy Wind will allow us to live a discharge, which is crucial here. So as you'll see, I can just tank that now, and then I'm pretty sure Icy Wind actually would have been able to knock out here too, but there's really no reason to risk it. I'm just gonna go for Drill Run, and then we can just farm down. Was that Poliwrath? Yeah. So GG. Alright, let's see. Shadow Poliwrath lead. So I think this guy ends up staying in, unlike the other Poliwrath lead we had a little bit earlier. Yeah, it's like, it's tough to know who wants to shield, who doesn't. I figure just going Shadow Ball is best, especially knowing that they got the attack drop. Maybe they'll feel confident in not shielding, thinking I might try to bait them or something. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, this is a scenario where they safe swap in Wishcash. I always like throwing Sand Tomb before I switch out, because Dewgong has a much easier time of removing Wishcash at this point. And as you can see, I don't even bother reducing any of this damage in the sense of shielding. I figured that with the defense drops, we were going to pretty much overcome this match pretty decently. So they decide just to not shield at all, which is fine. They bring in Poliwrath to try to get a little bit of an energy lead, which makes sense. Pretty smart decision on their end, honestly, because they're just barely going to be able to get to a move, and I'm pretty confident it's Icy Wind, so I'm just going to tank it. And this ends up being a super good call on my end to not shield that, because they end up having Skeledirge here in the back, which is actually pretty frightening. So I throw the Sand Tomb and I safe swap into Vigoroth, and I'm going to take the first Disarming Voice, I think, knowing that like I pretty much can. And they switch in Wish Cache, and fortunately enough for me, I am able to get off the... So the thing is, this matchup, I actually feel like... Oh, I guess technically I would have been able to Shadow Claw down. It makes sense why they just let it go. Yeah, that was actually kind of insane. I was like, whoa, I can't believe I won that. But yeah, we get a Charge-a-Bug lead here. This is such a good scenario for us. I mean, like I said, even if they have Crunch, I'll just not shield this very first one. And yeah, it ends up working out really good for us because they stay in, we throw the Shadow Ball, and I think I decide I'm just going to go for it. Farm down to build up energy. And they end up switching. They bring in Gligar, and I could have gone for a Shadow Ball here, but I wanted to just lower its defense because Dewgong can straight up just farm Gligar. And I'm not even worried about taking Dig. I could have shielded that to preserve some of my health, but I don't know, I didn't really feel like it was necessary, and I knew this would be Aerial Ace. So they end up having Poliwrath in the back, and that's kind of scary, I will admit. I throw the Icy Wind just to reduce the counter damage slightly. I have enough energy to get off some chip damage with Drill Run, so that's what I'm going to do here. And I think I bring in Vigoroth because I felt that maybe this would be a little bit better. The counter damage is a little bit weakened. They end up getting the attack drop, which is crazy. This is wild. So I throw the move, and I think what I end up doing is just barely getting to another Body Slam, which is epic. And they shield again. I will commit a shield here. I mean, more than likely they're going to Icy Wind. And from here, it's just a matter of just finishing up the match. We already knew they had Charge-a-Bug left, so as long as we got rid of that Poliwrath, we were in a really good scenario. So GG's there. And I think that's the final battle of that set. So yeah, GG's today. This was a lot of fun trying out a new team. Never really got to use Runerigus. I got one, I think, from like Mark Danger. Yeah, this brought me up to 2374. So I gained a decent amount of ELO running this team so far, and maybe I'll actually keep up and try to do some more battles in this format and try to get the veteran. But yeah, I don't know. I've been enjoying just playing Go Battle League more casual, but I am going to try to be better about trying to at least like post one video a week. I've been promising that. It's just with the holidays and visiting my family, it got pushed behind. But if you enjoy content like this, definitely consider liking, commenting, subscribing. It does help my content out a lot here on the platform. And with that being said, the Sass Squad is getting stronger each and every day. Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you're tuning in. And I'll catch you in the next one.